The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome to Court Radio. I'm Dean Weitzman, joined in the studio with my co-host, you know him as David M. Rappaport.
Good morning.
Hey.
Woohoo! Wow. That's a different one.
There you go.
People are screaming, actually.
If you got legal issues, we got the answer. All you got to do is give us a call at 215-227-2727. The one number for all your legal problems in Philadelphia. The one number. That's it. That's all you got to know. 215-227-2727. You see it on billboards. You see it on TV. You hear it on the radio. That's our number. Court Radio and My Philly Lawyer. You know, Dave, I got a couple questions on courtradio.com.
Ah, okay.
I answered them. I'm not going to, I don't need to share them on the air. But
I thought you were supposed to wait until the show.
Was I? Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't want the people to wait. I felt bad. So I gave them their answers. But, folks, if you've got legal questions, you may get the answer by going to courtradio.com and posting an email to me directly. That's right. It's your way to get it right into my inbox. Go to courtradio.com and send me an email.
And all language is welcome.
There you go.
I mean, bad language as well. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
There's no censorship when you send an email to Dean. You can say whatever you want to him.
I suppose that's true, David.
It is, isn't it?
Yes. 215.
It's a little helpful hint.
215-227-2727. Hey, did you know that in Iran this week, in Bandar Mashamushi, there was the highest temperature recorded in mankind's history. It felt like it was 165 degrees.
Oof.
With it was 115, but with the humidity and heat index on your skin, it felt like 165.
And then add,
I'm taking my next vacation.
Add the dirt.
To Bandar Mushashi.
Just add just the barren landscape and
And this is what
it's not a comfortable place to be.
And this is what we're fighting about.
Yeah, right. A patch of land.
Hey.
Well, then they're oil under that dirt and heat.
Like we need oil, we do. We're fracking Pennsylvania to nothing.
Yeah, no kidding. Fracking.
We got fracking oil everywhere.
Yeah. Fracking ourselves into death.
Frack you too.
Yeah, death.
We frack ourselves right to what? To death.
Yeah, fracking is. I'm not a fan of fracking.
No.
No, you don't want me to give you the whole thing, but it releases gas. It's a bad thing for the environment.
There's some litigation in fracking that you can make some money on.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. The injuries from fracking.
Absolutely, and coal ash.
Coal ash.
Google that.
Is that your next?
It's the next thing. Yeah, it's going to be.
Hi, I'm Dean Weitzman. I was born in Philadelphia.
No, I was born in...
but coal ash in Texas is where I'm...
I was born in Williamsport because that's where coal ash is.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so off to a more serious note. United States Congressman Shaka Fatah was indicted this week.
Oof.
It's a legal issue, and we have to tackle the legal issues, even the unpleasant ones, here at Court Radio. Shaka Fatah faces significant charges with a 29-count racketeering and conspiracy indictment.
They certainly took their time in building that up. So.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's it could be an airtight thing.
I suppose.
You never know.
Yeah.
Innocent till proven guilty.
Absolutely innocent until proven guilty.
We will not besmirch.
Question is whether, and it could take, look at how long it took to indict him. It could take years for this thing to come to trial and play out. Should he be a congressman during the pendency of his litigation? Can he focus on the job at hand while faced with the stress of the indictment. I'd like to hear from our folks. What do you think? Should the congressman step down? Should he not run for re-election? I don't know. I guess he's coming up not this year, but the next. Should he run for re-election?
11 terms he's been in.
Yeah. Yep, 11 terms. I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, really. I mean, he's done a lot of good. So
absolutely. That's exactly my thinking, David.
Yeah.
Was that, we're not all of something or none of something, I mean, whether he's done something wrong or not, whether he violated the law, I don't think it deprives him of all the good work that he's done over the years.
I guess that's you use that same argument with Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
You still feel that way about Bill after
I do.
Okay.
I don't think that we are all or none of anything, and I think we have to deal with the consequences of our actions.
Well,
and
I think it's becoming pretty clear that Mr. Cosby is all of one thing, at least, because it's pretty consistent. It's starting to show out of his entire career.
Yeah,
that he was involved.
Unfortunately, that's probably true. But unfortunately, there are those who jump onto the bandwagon just because, and I have less sympathy for somebody who's remained. What's going on with Bill has been in the news off and on for many years. This isn't brand new. If you've held your tongue for decades, essentially, I don't know. It could be that you're just a bandwagon jumper now. We'll see. 215-227-2727. You want to jump in on David and my conversation? Let's hear what you got to say about the congressman or Bill or any of the other poor folks who are in the news and not such the greatest of light. Let's talk to Jenny. Is that Jenny? Jenny. If she wrote the names the way they were supposed to be written, half the names I got wrong, I wouldn't get wrong.
You have to do it phonetically for D.
How about Janie or Janey?
That could be Janie.
Yeah. What does she do? Janee. Jenny. Is it Jenny? No, it's Janie, she said. Janie from Germantown. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
As we butcher your name.
Yeah, butcher, my goodness.
It's Janie.
Yeah, it's Janie. That's it. It's a simple Janie. Hi, Janie. How are you?
I'm okay. It'd be better if you could help me with the situation that I'm going through.
I don't think I'm going to be able to, Janie.
Yeah. Well, I had a slip and fall 3 years ago inside of a supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first met the lawyer, he told me that the supermarket had filed for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, what does that mean? Because they have insurance. So he told me the case can be won. And for 3 years, this dragged on. So anyway, in May, he told me that we may have to go to settlement court, and he quoted me two different prices that the supermarket lawyer was talking about. So, okay, I'm ready to go to settlement court. He calls me last Friday, and told me that the supermarket filed for bankruptcy. And I said, I know you told me that when I first met you 3 years ago. And he's telling me about the creditors that they owe and how deep in debt they are. Now, he sounds like he's defending them.
All right, let me.
I don't have a case.
Let me jump in.
I wish there was settlement court.
Yeah.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Settlement court.
Yeah.
Sounds like we'd settle a lot of cases.
It would be called Rappaport Court.
Settlement court.
Okay, Janie, let's talk seriously for a second.
Yeah.
First of all, the supermarket is Pathmark.
Yes.
Of course it is. And second of all, they filed bankruptcy maybe 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe a little longer. And then they came out of bankruptcy. Now, if your case was during the time when they originally filed bankruptcy, it got washed out in the bankruptcy. If it came after the bankruptcy, which I think it did, you had a viable case. In fact, I know this because I have clients who filed or had a claim that arose after the original bankruptcy. Okay, and then they came back out of bankruptcy. They were a functioning company, and my clients then had a claim against the company for a new case. And we've been litigating this case just as long as you have, Janie. And then we found out, like you did a week ago or two, that the schnooks at Pathmark went back into bankruptcy for a new bankruptcy filing, and this time, chances are they're not coming out. They are one heck of a mismanaged company that's fallen on hard times, and once they're in bankruptcy, all of the unsecured creditors, which you and everybody else who has a claim against them is just that. You're a creditor of theirs. You have a claim, but you're unsecured. And you're going to get maybe, if you're lucky, 10 cents on the dollar, maybe less. So if your case was worth $25,000, you'll be lucky to get $2,500 at this point. And the bankruptcy court takes years. So at this point, from this point forward, you could be looking at another 2 or 3 years before your case resolves.
Okay.
And who knows how much?
The lawyer was telling the truth. I was just feeling like he had received a check, and because the way he started telling it, I was feeling like he was defending them. And not to mention, with this being the third time that a lawyer has dragged me along, and then at the last minute tell me that we're not going to be able to help you. This was the third time, 3 different cases. I was just truly disappointed at this time.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you, dear. I don't blame you one bit. I'm disappointed myself. I represented a family for 3 years, and we spent, upwards of $10,000 out of my pocket on costs, experts and whatnot, getting ready for trial. And at the last minute, poof, gone. Yeah. Everything, all the time and money I invested into that case is over, and it's going to be a very wholly dissatisfying experience in the bankruptcy court. I do feel sorry for you, Janie, and I wish you the best, dear.
Can I ask you another question? If you have borrowed against your case, the claim, you went and got a loan.
They can't make
you don't know
pay
anything.
a nickel back, not a nickel.
Okay.
That's the good news.
Okay.
Congratulations. You got a free loan. And have a great Sunday, Janie.
Thank you, and you as well.
All right.
Thank you so much.
215-227-2727. Hey, David, I have another thing. It's not in the news, but it was something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I represent somebody who was involved in a very bad auto accident as a pedestrian. Mm-hmm. They were crossing the street in the middle of the block.
Right.
And they were stopped in like that double yellow line area.
Right.
And a car came along and whacked them.
Okay.
And he sustained significant head trauma, brain injuries, broken bones. He was in the hospital for a long time, and he was represented by another firm. Mm-hmm. The accident happened in February. He came to me in his family actually came to me in the end of April and said that the original attorneys dropped the case.
Right.
They got a letter from that law firm saying, sorry, we reviewed the police report. We can't help you.
Because you're standing in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Have a good day. You crossed in the middle of the street. They didn't give a lot of reasons, but the bottom line was they didn't feel like they could make a recovery on behalf of the family.
Right.
We took the case on at My Philly Lawyer. We investigated the claim. We gathered the records. And 3 months after this client became a client of my firm, the case resolved for $100,000, the policy limits of the tortfeasor. And I'm just bringing this up to say, folks, when you get bad news from one attorney, and it's this is a significant matter. Usually our claims are serious, significant matters. Don't stop with one attorney's opinion. I'm not promising that it's going to change, but in this fellow's life, okay, he went from a lawyer telling him you don't have a case to receiving a $100,000 settlement in 90 days. Give us a call at 215-227-2727, and we'll take a look at your case regardless of the circumstances. Folks, if you've got legal questions, David and I have the answer. Give us a call as soon as we get back from break. 215-227-2727.
It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident. but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-US-CLAIMS. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-US-CLAIMS today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly lawyer, when winning matters most. For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Hey, I'm back. It's Dean Weitzman, and I'm joined in the studio with my co-host, David M. Rappaport.
Good morning.
We're here to tackle your legal issues one at a time. If you've got questions, we've got the answers. Give us a call. Give us a call at 215-227-2727. Kaboom. Boom. No boom. Hey, let's talk to Michelle from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Hello, Michelle.
Yes, hi, how are you?
We're doing smashing, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. I have a question.
Hey, whoa. Have you been in the ocean yet this year?
No, I can't swim.
You don't even put your little toes in?
No, I can't swim.
Okay, so what's the point of living in AC? Are you working in the casinos or something down there?
Yes, actually I am working in a casino.
Ah, okay.
See that? That's what gambling does.
You
don't even touch the water.
What are you like? Are you like a blackjack dealer?
Yes, actually I am.
Nice.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to.
You've actually been sitting in front of her.
Probably. I'm going to look for you the next time, Michelle. So remember when I give you the good advice today, sometimes 20 does beat 21.
Yes, it does. I'll take care of you.
All right, Michelle. What's your question?
Yes, I went into the hospital for a procedure, a simple procedure, and the physician, he nicked one of my other organs. And I had to end up having emergency surgery, which made me stay in the hospital for a couple of months. And then when I had the surgery, the anesthesiologist, I guess when he took the tube out, I'm supposed to be awake, and I was still asleep. So I went into respiratory distress and was in the ICU. So I contacted a medical malpractice attorney, and the letter that I received back says that we can't help you.
Right. And
that makes sense.
Well, here's David says that makes sense.
It does.
Okay. Well, generally,
to me, it does.
When we review a case at My Philly Lawyer for medical malpractice, we're looking for a case that has permanent consequential injury. something that will follow you the rest of your life. If the negligence caused an injury, but the injury is something which is even a few months or even, dare I say, 6 months or a year, the value of that case does not usually warrant gearing up for a med mal case, because when we gear up for a med mal case and hire doctors to review all your medical records and then hire them as experts to testify at trial, that whole process can easily cost us $50,000 to $100,000. And so we're looking for a case that usually has a value getting close to 7 figures.
See, but I think it's before you even get to that analysis, the reason I said it makes sense to me is that most surgeries have inherent risks to them. And the cases that we see that turn into cases that would be similar to yours would be if they nicked an organ that they weren't supposed to, and they didn't recognize that they did that. Sewed you back up, sent you home, and you had all sorts of problems at home and had to go back to the hospital eventually because you were bleeding or whatever. Here, they nicked it, as you said.
That is what happened. I was home.
Okay, because
They discharged me when I went home, and then after I came back,
All
that's
right.
when they said I had the problem from that issue.
well, now you've surpassed my initial thing, which was in the former thing I was talking about. If they notice it right away, they've noticed it right away. They took care of you. I mean, it's inherently a risk of the surgery. In your case, however, I'll now go with what Dean said. If just because they're negligent, if they are, doesn't necessarily mean you have a claim unless the claim is worthy of pursuing. I mean, you can spend more money.
Right.
If you don't have the permanent injury and you're okay, just, gave you a lot of maybe a couple of days extra in the hospital and some extra pain, still, the cost of these cases is so high to pursue that it doesn't make sense unless you have a really catastrophic injury or something.
Nearly every motor vehicle case where
Right.
there is negligence
Yes.
and some injury, an attorney will pursue that case.
Sure.
Because it doesn't cost a heck of a lot to pursue a motor vehicle case.
Right.
But there has to be, on a med mal case, we make business decisions because we know that what we have to invest to get the case to trial is significant.
Yeah, they'll always fight those cases. The insurance companies for doctors and hospitals will fight every case all the way without question.
Even a clear one.
Yeah,
even
doesn't matter.
Even
They
the
fight.
clearest one.
They make you file suit. They make you go through every deposition. Experts
In
spend money.
27 years or 28 years of practicing law, I can count on one hand how many times a insurance company for a doctor in a hospital settled a case without litigation.
Right, I agree.
They all fight it. All right, Michelle, take care. Keep me in mind when we get down the casinos. I'll be looking for you.
Okay, thank you. I will.
All right, bye now. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Terrence from Elkton, Maryland.
Oh.
Isn't Elkton, Maryland, where people run off to get married when, they didn't?
Why?
Because I think that of all the places in the world, Elkton, Maryland, you could be 16 and get married without your parents' permission.
Is that true? What's
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Hi,
Good, how are you?
Terrence. Can you give us an opinion on that?
Love you guys. Listen to your show all the time. But yes,
Cool.
it's you can actually have. There's a law in Elkton that says that you can be 16 years old and the other person can be 21 years old and have sexual intercourse.
Oh, geez. How do
Wow.
you know that, Dean? How does Dean know? Dean lives in Philadelphia. He knows about an Elkton, some crazy law from Elkton, Maryland, about having sex with a 16-year-old.
It has nothing It has nothing to do with me. I was the youngest, and my siblings, of course. It was my siblings who
There you go.
who ran off to Elkton, Maryland, to get married.
Wow. That is a crazy
The
law.
only reason how I found out about that, my daughter's boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, he he started dating his sister's best friend, and his sister's 16 years old.
Jeez.
And he's 21. And my daughter called the police department to inform them of it, and they told her about the law.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very.
So there was nothing that can be done.
Very liberal in Elkton,
yeah,
Maryland.
obviously.
Listen, every town needs a hook to get somebody to come see them, right?
Come to Elkton where you can
Right.
engage in that sexual intercourse with 16-year-olds.
Yeah, that's it.
As long as you're 21.
Right. Well, no, but it really wasn't the sex part that I was focused on.
Yeah.
Though Terrence brought that up, but it was the get married part.
Uh-huh.
You could run off and elope. That was the term they used. You know, when
Elope.
you put the ladder up and
Yeah.
you and your betrothed ran away without mommy and daddy knowing, and you went to Elkton to get married. That was the deal.
It's like Vegas, probably, right?
Like Vegas, but for babies. Ah, Lord. All right, Terrence, come on, give it up. What's your question?
Hey, guys, my question is, my mother lives in New Jersey, and she was in a car accident about 3 years ago. And the attorney that handled her case, I went up there a couple of months ago because she's supposed to have done a deposition.
Right.
And with the Geico attorney, that's the other person's insurance company. And when so the attorney comes back and he says, well, we really don't think that, Geico is hard to deal with, and they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that. So he offers my mother this little bit of money. And so my mother's 74 years old. And so now she turns around and signs this paper saying that she's going to sell for this amount. Now, this was 2 months ago. So she hasn't heard back from the attorney. They won't return her calls. My question is, if she hasn't gotten a check, she hasn't done anything, so can she get you guys or another attorney to look at her case?
No.
My brother was
chances are, Terrence, the answer is no. If you started by saying she came up and she agreed to take this little bit amount of money and she signed papers. If she signed that paper called a release, then she will not, in all likelihood, be able to undo that transaction. 2 months is too long to get the cash, though.
Yeah.
And so I would say, that she should have heard something by now. I mean, I suppose that they could be looking into liens and whatnot, if there are any. But, one of the reasons why your mother's case may not be that attractive, and it has nothing to do with Geico. I fight Geico all the time, hundreds of times, a year, it seems like we're going up against Geico in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey. It doesn't matter. But one of the problems is, does Mom live in New Jersey or does she live in Maryland with you?
She lives in New Jersey.
Okay. So if she lives in New Jersey, she had to have chosen either verbal threshold or zero threshold. If she chose the verbal threshold, she got a cheaper insurance policy and promised she wouldn't pursue a claim for her bodily injuries unless her injuries were permanent and serious. And if that's the case, that always puts a person kind of behind the eight ball in New Jersey. If you choose to give up cases where you don't sustain serious and permanent injuries, then the insurance company always has a hook, and they can argue that. That's just one idea. I don't obviously have Mom's file in front of me. And yes, you can have your files reviewed if you want to before you sign the release. But after you sign the release, it's water under the bridge, as David would say. Bummer.
I didn't say it.
Or a bummer, But
now when she signed this settlement this paperwork, it didn't. Well, she hasn't gotten anything saying what she hasn't gotten a disbursement.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten a disbursement, and she's entitled to a disbursement, and she needs to get in touch with her attorney and go pay him or her a visit, because absolutely 2 months later, he should at least be able to tell her what the issues are on why he has not made distribution at this point, because distribution ordinarily would be made within 20 to 30 days of the release being signed. If it's beyond that, there's got to be a reason why, and she's entitled to know what that reason is. Correct, David?
I agree.
David agrees.
Okay, yeah, because my brother was in the car with her. He used a different attorney, and that his attorney, he was awarded $10,000.
Yeah, because you know why? Brother who doesn't live with mom, he wouldn't be bound. He would not be bound by that verbal threshold I talked about earlier. He would be considered zero threshold. He has no limitations on his ability to collect damages, and his claim is reviewed in its entirety. Mom, who probably has verbal threshold, she's kind of got to show that she's got a significant injury, permanent injury, you know, and without being able to prove that, if that's kind of, you know, in question, that's why her claim would be worth a heck of a lot less than Brothers.
Okay.
All right, Terrence.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. I listen to you guys every week.
Let me ask you something. Can I get you a T-shirt for Elkton, Maryland?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, hold on a minute. Stay on the line. Monica's going to give you the get your address, and we'll take care of you with a fine My Philly Lawyer T-shirt signed by David Nye.
Hey, thank you, guys.
All right, Terrence,
All right,
hold on
take
the
care.
line.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Okay, Monica is completely
Flabbergasted.
Yeah, she's flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
She doesn't know what day it is any longer.
Flim-flammed.
She's standing there looking like a deer in the headlights.
She is out of her element.
Yeah. All right. Let's we got all kinds of questions here. Let's talk to Tanya from Northeast Philly on line 1. Hey, Tanya, welcome to Court Radio.
Hi, how are you?
We're both doing peachy keen. It's Sunday morning. The weather's going to be beautiful. I'm probably going to take a motorcycle ride after the show. What are you doing? What's your plans for today, Tanya?
Well, we're going to Mass with my family and probably go down Penn's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've been down to the Landing this year yet. Yeah, it's always a nice time to sit by the water and reflect on life.
Yeah, they made a lot of renovations, so.
Oh, cool.
Good. Yeah, I haven't been down there.
I'm going to try to get down there. So what else is going on in your life today, Tanya?
Well, I have a question. I went to my cousin's. I was heading toward my cousin's funeral with my sister and her husband in Virginia. She's supposed to get married, but an unfortunate accident, and we had the funeral the same day she was getting married.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I was already stressed and depressed. And then we stopped at Applebee's, ate something, but I didn't notice it was
your first
water
mistake.
Water in the floor in the bathroom, and it's around midnight, and I slipped and fell. I got a manager's incident report and things. So when I came back to Philadelphia, that was in Virginia. When I came back to Philadelphia, I called the lawyer, and the lawyer recommended me to go to the chiropractor, his chiropractor. I've been going there for therapy and checkups. And I called, and they wanted me to keep continuing to attend. And I went to my doctor as well. They wanted me to go to my doctor for further treatment, but as well as one of them. So it's been almost a whole year. And I haven't heard. I talked to them. He didn't want me to talk to the insurance company by himself from Applebee's, and we supposed to have conference on the phone. We kept missing the conference, and he called me, and then he said him and the chiropractor had to go down to Virginia for the case, and I haven't heard anything else.
Okay, well,
I don't know. Is that normal? Is that supposed to be?
Well, listen. You have a. Well, I'm not sure. First of all, I'm not sure why you'd have to go to Virginia, except maybe to take a deposition. Certainly not the chiropractor, for goodness sakes.
That makes no sense.
Your doctor doesn't go anywhere. He treats you here, and that's the end of that. Though, if he filed a lawsuit in Virginia, the doctor might have to go down there to testify, I suppose. But I don't understand, if Applebee's does business all over the country, why you would even consider filing suit in Virginia. Why wouldn't you file suit here in Pennsylvania?
I did file suit in Pennsylvania. When I came back from the funeral, the next day I did file suit.
Well, no, you retained an attorney in Pennsylvania. You don't file suit the next day. In fact, I'm not even sure if lawsuit has been filed yet.
It probably hasn't.
But nonetheless, I say that if you have a claim against a national company, like whatever, it doesn't matter. It could be Applebee's, it could be Sears, it could be, whomever. You get to bring that lawsuit where you live. You don't have to bring that lawsuit in the state where the accident happened. And so everything would be conducted up here. Now, the only exception to that is when you're dealing with what you think is a national company, but in fact it's a franchise. So you could be slipping and falling in a McDonald's, say, but most McDonald's are franchises. They're not owned by the company; they're owned by a franchisee. And if you slip and fall in a franchise to McDonald's, chances are you have to bring the claim where the accident happened. I don't think Applebee's is franchised. Do you know, David, if they are?
I don't believe they are. But
yeah, I'm not sure. It would be the only reason why, I guess,
it could be.
You could have to bring it in Virginia. In the event it's franchised, you may have to bring it in Virginia, in which case you'd probably want Virginia counsel and not Pennsylvania counsel. But here's the bottom line. You got time to do it. Virginia does not have a 1-year statute of limitations. I'm fairly certain of that. And you need to know what's going on in your case. And so there needs to be some better communication between you and the lawyer's office. Get on the phone to them. And if you're not happy, you can always take your case somewhere else and have somebody else take a look at it and give you a second opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not stuck in that relationship with a lawyer. You know, if it's going south, if you're not getting the answers you want, you can go elsewhere and get a second opinion and maybe move your case if need be, or maybe at least get to understand why things are happening the way they are. Unfortunately, on Court Radio, we can't give you that answer because we need to see documents and correspondence and whatnot.
Right. Now another question is, after my MRI, I had an MRI done, and I was still going to therapy and stuff. And that's when he could get the MRI. She said they was going to try to do a settlement over the phone because he, like exactly what you're saying, he said he was going to Virginia because him and a chiropractor worked together. And he was going to Virginia. They had to go to Virginia for the case. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know why somebody would go to Virginia again, and nobody settles cases over the phone like that.
That doesn't
you
make
prepare
sense.
a whole settlement package, and you mail it out to the insurance company for the person who harmed you, and negotiations begin in telephone conversations, perhaps between the attorney and a representative of the insurance company, not the company itself. I'm thinking you don't have all the facts, and I blame the lawyer because I know. For myself, I try very hard to make everybody understand what's going on so we're all on the same page. But unfortunately, that's not always the case with my brothers and sisters in arms. Have a great Sunday. Sorry I couldn't be more helpful, but do get some more information and feel free to give us a call during the week at 215-227-2727. All right, let's talk to...
It's the second time we've let two questions...
unanswered?
No, we allowed two questions from an individual.
David, I apologize.
And I
apologize.
Shocked.
Yes.
Beyond shock.
Folks, we're going to start enforcing...
The gauntlet is going to be...
David has laid the gauntlet down. You get one question and one question only. If you go beyond that, you'll be forever banned from Court Radio.
Ooh, that's severe.
A lifetime ban. You'll never be able to call back.
Lifetime.
We'll follow and track your telephone number to the end of time. Let's talk to Christina from West Philly. Hello, Christina.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't think I've heard from West Philly for a long time. Yeah. You're down at the bottom? Where are you?
48th in Haverford.
Ah, there you go.
Okay.
48th at Haverford.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah, all right. 48th. Monica
means.
can't breathe right now.
Yeah,
she's
laughing at that down at the bottom comment.
Yeah,
or are you at the top?
All right, 48th in Haverford. All right, so what's going on?
Well, I had surgery in 2013.
Yeah.
And during the surgery, my right ureter was damaged, and I was out of work for about 5 months.
All right.
With complications, I had to end up getting a nephrostomy tube because my kidney on the right side wasn't draining properly. And now I have to get my kidneys checked every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to know is, do I have a lawsuit?
Well, okay, let me ask you something. When did that happen?
In 2013, November.
Okay, well, you have until
2015 November, which is quickly coming.
Yeah, only a couple months from now. Have you ever had a lawyer look into it?
Well, I did. I called and inquired about it at Wapner and Newman.
Uh-huh.
And they told me that I didn't have a case.
Well, what was the, if I may ask?
Wait, let me just ask you, did they render that decision without reviewing your medical records? Did you actually get them your medical records, or did they just do that on your description?
They did it on my description.
Okay. So nobody's actually reviewed all of your medical records from the time of the incident till now to determine whether there was negligence?
No.
Yeah, but what was the original surgery, if I may ask?
A hysterectomy.
Okay.
And so you had some complications from a hysterectomy. And, as David said earlier in the show, we were talking to somebody who may have had a med mal case. You need to show negligence, and sometimes in surgery, there are risks inherent in the surgery. 99 times it goes fine, but they know that a certain percentage of the cases, they have bad results, even though they do everything the way they're supposed to do it. And so that risk of the procedure means that sometimes people have bad consequences and no, there's not a case. You have to show, you or anybody else who has the potential for a negligence case, you have to show that the doctor did something which other doctors like him or her would never do. That it is in violation of their normal procedures that they do. So they use the wrong tool, they perform the procedure in the wrong way. You have to show that there was a breach of the standard of care. And if you can't show that, then you don't have a case. In order to show that, you need to have the medical records reviewed by another specialist of the same type. So you had your procedure done, I assume, by an OBGYN.
Yes.
Okay, so another OBGYN needs to review those records and clearly be able to state that the first one did something wrong in the way they did the procedure. And so that analysis can take a long time, months and months and months. And it is now only maybe 2 months before you need. Now, let me tell you that the statute of limitations may be slightly extended for you because you had bad consequences and didn't probably come to realize that there was a problem for some period of time after the original procedure.
No, we knew within 3 days.
Okay. All right. Then then essentially you have 2 years from when you knew there was a problem. And so I would say that you're very close to the statute, and you need to have the medical records reviewed. And I'm not sure that enough time exists to gather those records and do that analysis, but that's what needs to happen before you file suit.
Okay.
All right. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for calling Court Radio. Thanks for being a listener. 215-227-2727. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these announcements.
It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident, but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-US-CLAIMS. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-US-CLAIMS today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weissman is all about.
Call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly Lawyer, when winning matters most. For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio, and I'm Dean Weitzman. 215-227-2727. Join in the studio with my co-host, David M. Bummer Rappaport.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper, what's that?
He's the wrestler who just passed away. I liked Roddy.
Really?
He was the Piper.
Was he
the guy in the kilt who he wrestled in the kilt, and he was in my favorite worst movie ever.
What's that?
I can't remember the name of it. I'm gonna have to come, but it involved aliens that only he could see with special glasses. Do you remember that? Yeah, Larry knows it.
Oh my!
Horrible movie. Horrible movie.
How could you ever think of?
But he just had, he was like the Schwarzenegger character, the big gun, blasting away aliens.
I see.
Anyway. Roddy Piper, though, he was. If you know anything, if you were into wrestling at all, and I wasn't really, I just was. He just was a funny character. He was like a funny, wrestler would go on those rants and raves and turn into an actor. And
you remember when you were a kid, they had the fake wrestling, the WW.
That's what he was. That's what he was in. I'm not talking about real. He wasn't a real wrestler. He was a WWE.
WWF,
FE. Yeah, they all changed.
FE.
What's EF? They Live. There, Larry knows the name. They Live was the name of the movie.
No, Google knows the name. Larry has fingers that tickle the keys. That's
They
all.
Live. See, Larry knows stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Dean does. They live. Dean.
He's
would
way
never-
more a Renaissance man than I am.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, come on. I am so colloquially Philadelphia.
I know you are.
Yeah.
They live. Yeah, one of
I
the worst movies ever that you can have fun with if you watch it. Trust me, you get that movie, have a few beers.
There you go.
You'll be fine. Anyway,
Let's talk.
R.I.P. to Rowdy Piper.
You know, girls scammed ISIS this week. 3 girls.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
They
Greatest.
They use social media to get money from ISIS.
It's a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, and then didn't go to Iran. They heard the weather report in Iran.
Today in Iran, it's 165 degrees.
They said, hell no.
Is that your Iranian accent?
I'm not going to Iran this week. Well, I'm just keeping the money, that's all.
If that was an Iranian accent, it sounded more like a cartoon. Like, what was that cartoon guy?
Well, don't you think the Iranians are a little cartoonish? How about people like they keep a grudge for, 700 years. My uncle killed your grandfather in 16 BC.
For a goat.
Yeah. I mean, come on, guys, get a life. Get out of the cave and start living. Open a 7-Eleven or something.
You're going to be talking about Iraqis more than...
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Afghanis. Afghanistanis.
Okay.
All right. Thank God we have that disclaimer in the beginning, Monica's thinking.
Okay.
Let's talk to Linda from Norristown, who has a real legal issue. Linda, welcome to Court Radio.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. My insurance company was reviewing my insurance policy, and because they said, because I have such a great record, they were recommending that I get umbrella insurance. Is this something that you would advise, and exactly what is it?
Well, what do you own?
Yeah.
No, and I say that not to list everything you own, but the first reason to have it would be the only reason to have it is to protect your assets. So if an umbrella is something that kicks into effect after all your other insurance is used up. Like, for example, you have car insurance. Let's say you have $100,000 in coverage. God forbid you cause a really bad accident, and they want more than $100,000, and it's justified that they can get it. Then your car insurance would pay $100,000, and then your umbrella insurance would kick in to cover. Usually, it's $1 million, right, Dean? Or it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything.
But the question is, do you have assets that you want to protect? Do you own a home? Do you have money in the bank? Do you have a pension? Things that could be subject to taking.
Yeah, it's just it's just what it sounds like. It's a coverage,
umbrella, right?
Coverage that covers all of your assets, and it's general liability coverage. So if you've done harm, somebody falls in your house,
right,
and they sustain a fractured neck, and they're now a paraplegic, and they have a case worth $3 million, but you only have coverage at home for your homeowners of $500,000. Well, will they take your house and everything else you own? If you only have $500,000 in coverage and their case is worth $3 million, that's the risk you have. But with umbrella coverage, it kicks in after your liability coverage for your homeowners is exhausted, and it pays up to the limits of your umbrella. The nice thing about umbrella coverage is that it's usually cheap.
Very cheap.
So
inexpensive.
You can, for a couple $100, maybe you can get yourself another $1 million in coverage.
Right.
And so if you're eligible for umbrella coverage and you have assets worth protecting, then yeah, it's something you should seriously consider.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate the assistance.
No problem, Linda
Sure.
from Norristown. Thanks for listening. I want you to stay on the line, okay, because Monica's going to get your address and we're going to get you a Court Radio T-shirt.
Okay, thank you.
All right, hold on. Yeah, let's okay, nothing, no information. Let's go to line 4.
It must be somebody we know.
The unknown, line 4. Yeah, you don't have anything either, Larry.
Hello.
Hello, line 4. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Kia.
Kia. Hi, Kia. Where are you from?
I am calling from West Philadelphia.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
You're our second West Philly caller today.
Yes, West Philadelphia, born and raised.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
And what's the special question you have?
I am calling because my mother recently passed away on March the 14th of this year, and she was a patient at Thomas Jefferson University. She was a heart patient. She had a heart transplant
Right.
8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She spent approximately 10 days at Thomas Jefferson in the month of February. She was released the last week of February, I believe around the 24th or 25th of February. She became ill just a few days after, about a week after that. She went back into the hospital on March the 11th. They admitted her, and she passed away on March the 14th. I received a letter from Thomas Jefferson saying that she caught a C. diff infection while in their care, and that they apologized for any discomfort or concerns raised as a result of the infection. And I wanted to know if they were liable for her death. C. diff was the cause of her death.
Right. Okay. So the answer to that is no, probably not. When we go into the hospital is a breeding ground of infections of all sorts. C. diff is one, and MRSA. Yeah, you name. It's just it's a place where infection lives. Unfortunately, despite their best efforts of cleaning up hospitals, most hospitals have infections that patients get.
Well, there's sick people there.
There are sick people there.
So yeah,
hospital,
it makes sense.
you want to stay out of hospitals if you can. Yeah. But here's the thing: if a hospital recognizes an infection and promptly treats it, then the chances are there is not going to be a medical malpractice claim that arises from that event. If you continued to go back to the hospital where you got the infection time and time again, time passes and they don't recognize it, and they don't treat it, and they don't treat it properly, then in that case, you may have a claim.
Yeah, well, there's one other issue, and this is almost, you can recognize how difficult this would be to show. But if you can, through the records and through the treatment plan, show that they didn't do the right thing to protect a patient such as your mother, with a heart condition, if they did something to expose her unnecessarily to C. diff, and that would be say someone didn't use gloves, like something that was apparent, then it could be a case. But it's very, very difficult to prove because usually they don't know how you get the C. diff. It just suddenly appears. It could be from anything. So, I've seen cases though where you can prove where it came from.
Mom, because of her age,
and
her medical condition, she was susceptible to not infection, but she was susceptible to the consequences of infection.
Right.
Somebody like her, when they get an infection, it could be life-threatening, as was the case. And again, getting the infection in a hospital, just getting an infection, that is usually not enough to demonstrate negligence. It has to be that they failed to recognize it and failed to treat it. But I send you my condolences. I'm sure that whatever information we gave you isn't going to bring back Mom or her, make it any easier to experience that loss. But understand that I don't believe the hospital in any way, in a negligent fashion, contributed to her death. And I appreciate your listening to Core Radio. Have a great Sunday. And stay on the line. Monica's going to get your address. Okay?
Okay. Thank you for the closure. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Bye now.
Mm-hmm.
David!
Yes, sir. And that, real quick.
Yes.
Sometimes that's what people need in these cases that the general public doesn't understand is the closure aspect. You'll agree, Dean, a lot of time people come to us. It's not about the money. They want answers.
Right.
And doctors in the hospitals don't tell them the answers. And sometimes we investigate and it turns out there's no case, but we find out why the person died or why they got sick or why something happened.
You couldn't be more
enough.
right. You couldn't be more right. Closure is what court radio oftentimes is all about.
As we close the show.
It isn't about giving you an answer that you're going to want to hear, but it's an answer nonetheless.
Right.
Have a great Sunday, David. Thanks for participating.
Oh, yes.
Folks, coming up next.
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Philly Speaks.